Being a bridal makeup artist, I have touched many faces, normal skin, oily skin, combo skin. So I'm gonna show you today how I complete a bride who has normal to combo skin. And I'm gonna show you step by step. So follow along with me and let's go. So the first thing that I'm going to do on Megan is I'm going to prep her skin very well. She has combo skin, so she has an oily T-zone and dry everywhere else. So I'm first gonna start off with the facial radiance pads from First Aid Beauty. These are so great. And it's like a very soft exfoliator. They do not irritate the skin, which I love. So it's just gonna give you a smooth surface. If you have little dry patches in your skin, it's gonna really help to smooth it out and get your skin ready for foundation and concealer and all of that good stuff. So this is a good prep right before. And these are safe to put makeup on right after if this is not something that you have to rinse off. So I'm just gonna do this. Get her skin nice and clean. I'm gonna avoid underneath her eyes. Okay. Now, after I let that dry, I am going to moisturize her skin. So Megan, would you say 1 out of 10, how would you rate your skin being dry on all the other areas that you're not oily in?
Like a 4.
A 4, okay. So not super dry.
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Cream Water Cream. So this is gonna really help to just hydrate your skin and all of the areas that you're not oily in, okay? I'm gonna put this everywhere. Skin prep is so important when you are doing bridal makeup. When you're doing any makeup application, not just bridal, because this is going to prep your skin for makeup. So you want to make sure the skin is properly prepped, especially for your skin type. So because she is combo, I'm going to make sure that I hydrate all around the areas where she is not oily, so then I don't have double products on those areas that she's oily. Okay, so after we do that, we are gonna go in with Hourglass Veil. I love this product, Hourglass Veil. This actually minimizes your pores, controls oil. It actually has a little iridescent to it as well. I'm gonna go in. Is it okay if I go in with my fingers? Okay, so I'm gonna go in. This is the part where I like to use my fingers to apply in the T-zone area because I really want to massage it into the pores. So if you have large pores, this would really help to smooth it out and control the oils at the same time. Put some on her chin, her nose, her forehead. Thank you, Creative Beauty, for sponsoring this video. Now, if you are watching this video right now, you are probably an everyday woman who wants to learn tips and tricks on how to apply makeup on yourself, and I hope these videos are so helpful for you. Or you are probably a makeup artist wanting to learn new tips and tricks to advance your skills. Well, I am working on a 4-week program that's going to change your life in this industry. So I'm going to be teaching you everything that you need to know, my blueprint on how I became a successful makeup artist, and I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm gonna show you everything behind the scenes of being an admin, contracts, timelines. You will also receive one-on-one training with me where I teach you how to create a luxury makeup kit, as well as hands-on training with me teaching you my signature makeup looks. I believe this 4-week program can change your life. If you are ready to take the next step, hit the link in my description and join my waitlist. I am going to use a tiny bit of this Tatcha silk canvas. Can you see how beat up my Tatcha silk canvas is? My gosh, story of a makeup artist. So this product is so great. I'm gonna scoop some out with my dish and put it on my dish. And this is gonna really help to smooth out your pores even more. So I'm just gonna grab a tiny bit. I call it my little pore putty because it kind of has a texture of putty, but it's so silky. So it just blends out seamlessly, but it really helps to fill in any pores even more. So if you have a client who has a little bit of a larger pore, you can go in with this on top of the hourglass veil. So our hourglass veil would be if they have like normal pores, but if they need a little bit more filling, if they have a little bit of a larger pore, you can use the Tatcha silk canvas. And I'm gonna put it everywhere on top of the hourglass veil. Okay. Now for under eye hydration, I am going to use these amazing Peter Thomas Roth Hyaluronic Cloud Patches. Love these, they're super hydrating. So when it comes to under eyes, we all have fine lines, unless you're 3 months old. So the key to helping with less creasing underneath your eyes, because it's not gonna go away 100%, but what helps it is hydration. So I love using these to hydrate, and also it helps with puffiness. So if you have puffy under eyes, they have caffeine in them, so it really helps to minimize that. For the lips, I'm gonna go in with Laneige Sleeping Mask, and this is in the flavor mango, but they have so many flavors. And I like to prep the lips, so while I'm doing her makeup, everything is soaking in. The eye patches are soaking in, her lips are getting hydrated. Right before lips. Right before I apply her lipstick, I'm gonna remove the lip mask. Just wanna make sure that her lips are nice and hydrated. Okay. So now that I completed her beautiful eyes, we removed the eye patches, her skin is already prepped, we are gonna go in with the good stuff and bring everything all together. So I'm gonna go in with Studio Fix Fluid in the color NC30. Love this stuff. And I'm gonna mix it in with a little bit of Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. This stuff is going to loosen it up and give her a perfect silky finish. So I did 2 pumps of each, and this is gonna be the perfect skin cocktail for her face. So I am going to really focus on the sides of her face and make sure I go all the way down to her neck. I'm also using the color NC30 in the MAC, and Giorgio Armani, I'm using the number 6, and they are both golden undertones. And the same with foundation. I love to really loosen it and blend it all out. not loosen it. I like to blend it out to loosen it up so it looks really seamless. And I'm using the brush 47 from Sephora. Love this brush. And when I'm color matching my brides, most of the time, like 95% of the time, they have a tan for their wedding day. So I always make sure to color match the arms and the entire body because I don't want her body and her face to be two different colors. So the reason why I chose this cocktail for her is because she has combo skin, which means she's oily and she's also a little dry. So I want her makeup to stay on all day, but I don't want it to look or feel like she has a lot on. So when I use the Luminous Silk, it's gonna hydrate her skin and make it look really silky. And the Studio Fix is going to help with the wearage, give her a little bit more of a full coverage, and mattify her in the areas where she is a little oily. I'm not gonna put anything underneath her eyes because I'm gonna let the concealer do all of the concealing. I'm gonna make sure to go into her hairline. Then I'm gonna grab a smaller brush. I'm gonna grab the Luxie Nose Contour Brush. It's a duo-sided. Love this brush. I use it for nose contour. I use it for little areas that I can't really reach. So I'm gonna use this brush to just trace around the eyebrow. I don't want it to look really boxy or too perfect. So I'm just gonna make sure that I cover up her skin to even it out. Gosh, this foundation just laid so beautiful on your skin.
Thanks to the prep.
Thanks to the prep. Megan also got a facial not too long ago. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a little over a week ago.
A little over a week ago. I always tell my brides, make sure if you are going to do a facial before your wedding, have it be at least a week and a half to 2 weeks so your skin can settle and heal right before applying all of your makeup on your wedding day. I'm just gonna press it in. Make sure I get in the little areas that I couldn't reach. So Megan doesn't really have blemishes, to be honest. But if she did, I would go back in and just press in the areas that need a little bit more love. Instead of going in with a full layer of foundation all over again, I just go in and just press in those areas that need a little bit more love with more product. You want to make sure that it's all the way dragged down. Also, if my bride was going to wear her hair up, I would color her ears with foundation as well, because we do not want two tones in any way. So after applying that, I'm going to color correct underneath your eyes just a tiny bit. I'm going to use the Huda Beauty in the color Peach, and I'm just going to use one dot, literally. And I'm going to use my nose contour brush from Luxie that I told you about. This little brush just comes in handy. Look up for me. And I'm barely going to apply some right in the inner corner of her eye, because this is where most discoloration is right in here, and maybe like a dot there. And same on this side. And 1 dot is all you need because you don't want to layer too much underneath the eyes because it's already such a thin layer of skin. So that's all you're gonna need. And I'm gonna go in with a hydrating concealer. I'm gonna use the beautiful, the glorious Natasha Denona concealer in the color N4. These are fantastic. So hydrating, blends like butter. I'm just gonna apply some here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and a little bit there. I'm gonna apply a little bit on the forehead. I am going to use a makeup sponge. I actually cut my sponges in half. I find that I could fold them better. I could really get into areas that I need to. So I am going to just make sure you wet your sponge, by the way, look up. And I am just going to press it into her skin. And I stop midway. Right here, I don't pass her nose. Oh yeah. Just like this. Okay, then I'm gonna grab my Luxie nose contour brush that I was telling you guys about that I'm obsessed with. I'm gonna pick up this concealer that's right there and I'm gonna make sure that I trace it perfectly so it looks really sharp, but we don't remove the eyeliner. It's very tedious right there. I'm not really worried about going too high because that is where our bronzer and our blush will go. Look up for me. And I can get into this little area here. And the reason why I only put concealer here and here is because this is where we mostly need the coverage, is right in the inner corner, right? And I don't want to put so much product underneath. So whatever's left over from my sponge will just be blended out here. And this will be used to cover up any discoloration on the outer part of the eye and also to clean up the wing to make it look so clean and sharp. Okay. Then I'm going to press it into the forehead. Oh girl, this skin is skinning. And I like to do this to give just a little bit of light to the center of the face. And now I'm gonna go in with a tiny bit of vanilla concealer from Nars, just to give her a tiny bit more of a highlight. I'm gonna use the color Vanilla. And I'm gonna just apply some right on the inner corner. Right in here, and I'm gonna apply it right in here as well, right in the center of the nose. And this is just gonna brighten it just a tiny bit. When I do my nose, I just like to pat because I want the thin layer that I just applied to be that size. I don't want it to get really thick. Just want it to be in that section. But here, I want to make sure that I go in between both brows so then I don't have a line of the light concealer right in the middle of her eyebrows. Okay. And I'm just going to press this in. Just like this. This is going to brighten it up just a little bit more. Ooh, honey. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Fabulous. Okay, now let's contour. I'm going to use Rare Beauty. These are so amazing. They melt like butter. They're so great. I'm using the color Sirene, and I like to apply it on the back of my hand rather than on the face. And the reason why I like to do this is because I like to take control of how much is on there. And I also don't want it to dry out. I don't want to keep going back and forth and removing the foundation. So I'm going to use the Sephora 47 brush, the same brush that I used for foundation. And I am going to pick some up and I'm going to even it out on my brush. And right at the top here, I would say like where her top of her ear is, this is going to be your guide to begin. And I am going to bring down. I'm going to bring down in patting motion to the middle of the face, just like this. And same on this side, the tops of where her ear is, the side of her face. I'm gonna go down, but I'm gonna stop midway because we're going high. We wanna lift the face. So then it looks very natural, very blended. Seamless. That's my word. Sorry if I used it about a million times because that is my style. Okay, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more and I'm gonna get inside the hairline. I want to look like the sun just kissed her face. Okay, then I'm gonna pick up a little bit more and get her jawline. And that was literally just one dot of the Rare Beauty because I like to make sure that I stretch it out and blend it out beautifully without using too much product because you don't need a lot of product. So think about it this way when you're contouring. You want to make sure that you're doing like a 3. Well, this is a 3 and this is an E. So you have color in all the right places rather than everywhere, and then you end up looking like an Oompa Loompa. Okay, now I am going to grab my Luxie nose contour brush and I'm gonna pick up the remaining that's on my hand and I'm gonna start off from the beginning of her eyebrow, going down to the tip of her nose. And then same here on the other side. I don't want it to be super noticeable to have this crazy nose contour, but I want it to still be contoured. Just like this. Tell me this brush is amazing. Oh, hello. Okay, now for some blush. I'm going to go in with the color Happy, Rare Beauty. It's like a really pretty pinky and a peach. Had a baby. And I'm gonna use the exact same brush that I used for the bronzer, the 47. Gonna clean it off. Typically I have 2 of these when I'm doing my bride. One for my foundation and then one for my bronzer and my blush. But today I only had 1, so we're only working with what we got. So I'm gonna apply it to the high points of her face. So right where her smile. So I'm placing it at the apple, but bringing it higher. Just like this. And I even go a little bit underneath the eye. And I bring it up to the sides of the face. Blush makes everybody look so youthful. It brings so much life to the face. so pretty. Pick some up. And blush is also the first to go, so don't be afraid to apply a good amount. You want to make sure that you blend it into the bronzer as well, so it looks very seamless. Okay, so then you can see, move over to the side, and then move over to the other side. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna put some on the chin, a little bit on the nose, a little bit on the forehead. I'm gonna go back in with my sponge, and I'm gonna make sure that I just press in the concealer and the blush to marry the two. So there's no harsh lines and everything looks really blended. Just like so. My goodness. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with some Huda Beauty Pound Cake setting powder. And I'm gonna use a puff. I love these Amazon puffs, they are great. I'm gonna pick some up. I'm gonna melt it on the palm of my hand or the back of my hand. And I'm just gonna press it mostly on the inner part here. And then on the nose. And I even put some on the forehead. So after I'm done setting underneath her eyes, and I put some on her nose and on her forehead, it's because whatever's left over on there, I want to set in the little areas where fine lines like to pop up. So the laugh lines, right here on the nose, you don't really want a lot of product on the nose. On the forehead, you get a lot of fine lines as well. So I always apply less product there. So that is why whatever's left over, I press it in, because I still want to set it, but I don't want to overdo it with product. So now I'm going to go in with a powder from MAC called MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in the color medium golden. I depotted all of my powders and put them in this MYO cosmetic case, just so I could have more room in my makeup kit. I love these powders, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna use it with my powder puff. I'm gonna apply it with this powder puff because if you want more coverage, this is what's gonna give you more coverage in areas without it looking really thick and cakey. And the reason why I love using this powder is because it's made by hand and it melts beautifully into the skin. So any skin type can use it. If you have oily skin, if you have dry skin, it's not gonna mattify you. It's just going to give you the perfect skin-like finish. Without it looking really dry. And a lot of clients who are dry get nervous to use powders, but not this powder. So right now she's gonna start to look a little matter than just dewy, but that's okay, because again, we want this to last. She's a bride, she's going to be out and about for 8, 10, 12 hours, so we need this to stay on all day. You could even go over the blush a little bit. So if you have a lot of breakouts or pigmentation on the cheeks. Like me personally, that's what I have. So I have to go over my bronzer or blush with my puff and my powder to give myself more coverage. But it's totally fine because you're gonna put on powder bronzer, powder blush, and you're gonna cover it. So don't be afraid to cover up blush or bronzer with a powder. That was the moral of the story. Okay, so now that she's all set, I'm gonna go in with an angled brush from Morphe, and I am going to set the bronzer, the blush. I'm gonna use Christian Dior in the color 30 Tan Matte. I'm gonna press it, make sure it's evened out on my brush. And I'm just gonna press it in like this. Anywhere where we put the cream bronzer, we are going to set it with regular bronzer. Oh, and the same exact brush that we used for the crease color, I'm gonna use for the nose contour with the bronzer. So everything looks very blended, coming from the shadow, from the brow, to the sides of the nose, the tip of the nose. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of blush. I'm gonna go in with the color, let's see, YSL 37. It's like a really pretty peachy. I'm gonna pick up a little bit with the exact same angled brush, and I'm just gonna press it. Again, blush is the first to go, so don't be afraid to put on a good amount. And if you feel like, oh Lord, I just put way too much blush on, I'm gonna show you what you could do. Grab your foundation brush and just go over the blush a little bit to soften it up. Okay. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a highlighter. I just opened this baby up right now, the new Dior Backstage palette with my Morphe M510 highlighter brush. I'm gonna use these top two. Oh my gosh, so good using a brand new palette. And I'm just gonna place it right on the top of her cheeks. I don't wanna put so much towards the front of her cheeks because then that's when she'll start to look oily. Just on the sides. Pick up some, put some on the nose, right in the center. Pick up a little bit more, put it on the sides of your forehead to give you that Botox finish. I'm gonna put some on the chin. Yes. Okay. Then I like to use this blush as a topper. So I'm gonna use a little pink here. And I'm just gonna dust some just to give you a little bit of a highlight. Give you some shine, not too much. Okay, now this is what I like to call my final five. I'm gonna remove what's on your lips. And I'm going to just even it out with a little bit of foundation. Tiny bit. I'm gonna go in with Natasha Denona lip liner in the color 2.5. Love these lip liners. They look so pretty. They feel like butter. I'm gonna outline. I'm just following exactly where her lip line is. Filling in just a little bit. I'm gonna go in with something a little cooler. I'm gonna go in with, what is this color? Endless Cacao from Makeup Forever. Gonna apply some right in the Cupid's bow. And a little bit on the bottom too, just to give her a little bit extra, Okay, then I'm gonna go in with the color Red Carpet Pink from Charlotte Tilbury. Just right in the center. Rub them together a little bit. And I'm gonna go in with KKW lipstick. Just right in the center. Just to lighten it up just a tiny bit. Gonna blend out the liner just a tiny bit. Now I'm bringing the Endless Cacao just a tiny bit around her lips. Gonna marry the lip liner with the lipstick. I'm going to go in with some gloss. I'm going to use the shade 013 from Dior in the Lip Maximizer. Just right in the center. I like to put some right in the center because it helps the lips to look poutier. And I even like to put some just a tiny bit over the Cupid's bow. And that's gonna give you a more luscious, poutier lip. Okay, perfect. So now that her lip is done, her body foundation is all done, I'm just going to make sure we mattify her in the T-zone one last time before she goes down the aisle. So I'm using a little egg brush from Morphe. This is M438. These are all the Morphe original brushes, so they probably look, not probably, I know that they look completely different, but I don't know if they have the exact same numbers. But you can just find one that looks just like this. I just love using this shaped brush because I get into little pockets. And I just mattify her anywhere that she may look a little shiny. And then we are going to set it and forget it with the best setting spray, Onesize On Till Dawn, waterproof. And there you have it. This is one of my favorite bridal looks, step by step. Hope you enjoyed.